Okay, so I sold several planes this week. Sold the Ultimate Biplane, Ultimate 2 Biplane, the Sukhoi 29mm, the top RC FW190, the little FMS Spitfire, the little micro Sukhoi. They're all gone, and I bought this guy. This is the E-flite Commander. Just put him together last night. Now, there's been a good deal of, you could almost say, controversy about the center of gravity on this guy. Whether the manual suggests a 2200 battery, but then there's sort of the, how, and then there's, the manual says like what, an 88 millimeter center of gravity back from the front of the wing. Yeah, people debate where the center of gravity should be. A lot of people seem to prefer flying it with a 3200. I'm going to need an adapter since that's a Dean's plug, and the ESC is not a Dean's plug. I was playing around putting the same type of battery in it yesterday. Sure, that's not going to bugger around, not this wandering around. No, I don't think that's going anywhere. Of course, getting the front of the hatch under when the battery's forward like that's a little tricky. Okay, you know what? I mean, I can think, but nevertheless, I'm going to change the timer down just to remind me, because they say he doesn't fly all that long on this, on the 2200 battery, and indeed that's what the manual says, is start with a 5-minute time on a 2200 battery. This will, I only put him together yesterday, so this is of course the Maiden for this guy. I do have the safe mode enabled, and in fact I think I'm probably going to take off with the safe mode on first time.
Safe mode.
There, he's trying to level himself. That looks right. Some of the older planes, like basically both the Ultimate Biplane and the Sukhoi, the safe mode was more of a liability than an asset. It would mess you up. But this is a new plane, so hopefully they've programmed the safe mode right so it doesn't restrict your control to the point where you crash. And he's got flaps.
Takeoff flaps, landing flaps.
That's full flaps. We certainly don't want full flaps on.
Takeoff flaps.
I don't think we even want that, but we'll have maybe a quarter flap out. We'll see. You probably don't need any flap for takeoff, but
Throttle cut off.
I'm always a little nervous with a Maiden. Visibility's pretty decent, such as it is. I'm not sure how his wheels are going to run on the grass. No. Those wheel pants are pretty and all that, but I don't know whether they're going to end up staying on their foam wheel pants. People complain, foam wheel pants, flying off grass and gravel. Well, I don't fly off gravel, but, the wheel pants tend to take a bit of a beating, and they're not really, they're pretty, but they're not helpful. Getting a bit higher than we really need to be there. We'll take the flaps up. Take the flaps up. That will take some of the lift off. We don't need them.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
I do still have the safe mode on at the moment. Let's get him where Let's get him where I'm really comfortable looking at him before I take it off, because who knows quite what he's going to do. They don't usually do anything too much, but sometimes they can. Okay.
AS3X.
Well, yeah, you can certainly tell the difference. You can certainly tell the difference. Oh yeah, massive difference. The safe mode really restricts. Actually, I'm going to put safe mode back on for a minute. Where are we here? It's a swings and roundabouts. The safe mode kind of restricts your flight envelope a lot. It really isn't very responsive in safe mode, but you can sort of bank and yank.
Time remaining 3 minutes. AS3X mode.
Seems a fair description, because of course he does still have AS3X in there. He still has AS3X when he's not in safe mode, but you know, for wind stabilization, not that there really is any wind now. The AS3X you can't turn off. I should probably give him a bit of power. I'm giving him very little power, which is nice checkers on the bottom. So long as there's enough light to see them, they make it pretty clear which is the bottom.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Yeah, God, yes, of course, that's the thing with such a short battery. We'll see what the battery's used. We'll bring him down and see what the battery's used, but it's very short, of course, if it's really only 5 minutes. You could perfectly well put a 32 in him, but I'd have to stall. See, I stalled him there. I'm mucking around going too slow, and I stalled him, and he sort of dropped a wing a bit. Okay, I'm going to put safe mode back on.
Safe mode.
Where are we time-wise? Yeah, I know I'm wimping out, but I don't see any point being macho about it. I mean, once I get used to him, yes, I'll fly him without the safe mode all the time, probably, but...
Time remaining 1 minute.
Yeah, that's 1 minute. We should be thinking of landing. Well, I am thinking of landing. That's why I'm doing this. Okay.
Takeoff flap.
Little bit of flap there. I don't think you really need flap much at all, but since it's there, so you might as well use it.
30 seconds.
Well, and it certainly will lower the stall speed, and I did stall him there at one point, and it's not horrible, but he drops a wing sort of when you stall him. It's about half flaps. Ooh, going off the end of the runway there almost. Almost ran out of runway there, but not quite.
Throttle cut on. Flaps up.
Yes, I don't think I'm going to try and turn him round at that distance, because I know I'm probably too close to the long grass to get away. You might taxi, but... You might taxi, but well, we can try, but
Throttle cut off.
Up elevator.
20 seconds.
Trying to see if I can turn him round. Yeah. Okay. Taxi him in. I wasn't sure whether I...
9, 8,
We'll avoid the wet patch there.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time expired.
There you go.
Throttle cut off.
So that's exactly the 5 minutes, according to the timer. No.
AS3X mode. Takeoff flaps. Flaps up.
So I've got my flaps. I put my flaps on the whatever you want to call it, the rotating thing on the back of the controller there, because that way I can put them in and out without taking anything off the sticks, and it also gives me proportional control. It means I've not just got like flaps, half flaps and full flaps. I can put quarter flaps, three-quarter flaps, whatever. So that's my preferred way of doing flaps on the DX9 generally. Okay, and we'll see in a minute how the battery's doing. Pull that a little bit to the side. It makes it easier to take off because it's held on by a magnet here. Some dirt in the magnet for some reason. Okay, and let's see. Let's find a battery checker and we'll see what we've got left in that battery. 11.7, 3.86. You know, so it's also rather uneven. 3.93. This battery is not. It's not very even. The middle cell's got more in than the others, which is not a good sign. And it's almost down to a storage charge, so you probably wouldn't want to run it more than, and that was hardly a vigorous flight, you probably wouldn't want to run it more than the 5 minutes on the 2200, so I can sort of see why people use a 3200 for it. Well, it seems to me it's really hard to get the center of gravity as far forward as they say. I mean, they say 88 millimeters from the front of the wing. Some other people have been saying online maybe more like 95, but you've got it. Oh my, that's my strap. See, this is a 3200, and even with it all the way forward like that, the center of gravity is more like the 95. That guy said getting the center of gravity as forward as the 88, I find seems to be almost impossible. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. The plane has a bit of a tendency, I mean, it wasn't flying badly, but it has a bit of a tendency to be more tail heavy. See if we can tuck the SC a bit out the way there. And of course it's a bit hard to get that, there we go, to get that tongue of foam in there where it needs to fit in. Okay, so we got the throttle cut on, yes. Yes, we always want to be very careful we got our throttle cut on. Okay, let's give him one more try. The jacket's off now, it's warming up. I was thinking I might taxi him out, which I'm sure I could, but then again, that sort of further confuses the battery time, so I think maybe we won't.
Takeoff flaps.
Actually, about half takeoff flaps. That's one thing. I mean, seems like the voice enunciation of flaps, unless there's some way that somebody else knows that I don't know about, it seems like the voice enunciation of flaps only kind of deals with 3 position of flaps. Even if you put the flaps on like a slider or a switch or whatever. So although I've got the switch on a wheel that can put any amount of flaps sort of between 0 and 100% out, the voice always says either takeoff flaps up or landing flaps.
Throttle cut off.
Mass is back on my nose.
Safe mode.
I think we'll stick to taking off in safe mode for now, especially since I've moved the balance again and whatever. Although actually, I mean, I don't think the balance, obviously it's going to be a bit heavier than it was last time because it's got the 3200 in, but I don't think the center of gravity is in a very different position. I moved the battery backwards and forwards, well, forwards mainly, to get the center of gravity in essentially the same position it was in last time, which is about as far forward as I can get it. And still, really, I don't think as far forward as the 88 millimeters from the leading edge of the wing that they recommend. I don't know how you'd get it there, really. And that's what they say, but then again, they say put a 2200 in it. And they put, you know, you could see where they put the battery Velcro and the straps. You put a 2200, there's a bunch of birds there, we're getting in between.
Flaps up.
You put the 2200 on their piece of Velcro, you know, and lined up equally with their straps, and you certainly would not have the center of gravity where they say to put it. You'd have the center of gravity way at the back.
AS3X mode.
Yeah, that is the moon, don't say. That's the moon. Now, you probably can't really see it very much in the camera. Behind that cloud. The visibility is pretty good so far as the air is concerned. Sure, my eyes are working all that good. I should probably go to the optician again and get my prescription checked. Actually, I don't think it's really my prescription. I don't think it's really much to do with my prescription. You know, the plane's sharp enough. It's just that I get spots in my eyes a little bit. It's probably blood pressure or something. What can you do? It's not that things aren't in focus. I can focus on the plane well enough. Which if my prescription were wrong, I think it would be more, the plane would be like blurry, which it's not. But looking up all the time, if I'm not careful, I do tend a bit to get spots in front of my eyes and things. Which obviously is not something you want to let get too far out of hand. First loop. I know I'm a very wimpy flyer aerobatically. I don't do anything very much, and then I go and stall the guy virtually.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's based on 5 minutes, which for the 2200 battery, it should get a bit more than 5 minutes, I should think, with the 3200, but still there's no point pushing it. There's no point pushing it. Pretty plane, no doubt about that, very pretty plane. Definitely got some potential. Perhaps not the best fit for my rather conservative style, although I'm sure you can fly it pretty conservatively. For someone, okay, fair enough. For someone with my sort of style, I think, you know, the Valiant, you know, the Valiant can do any maneuver I'm prepared to do anyway, and it's, you know, a little bit more stable than this guy, and you get more battery time off it. And I got the floats on it now. I'm going to try it off water. The Valiant, I feel very comfortable with. You can, yeah, well, you can do anything that I want to do anyway, basically, and I guess we should. It's okay, but not really, because the other 30